Welcome viewers. 2026 WAEC Mathematics Theory question number 8. Want to give the full solution for number 8. All right. And the question is given a geometry. Okay. Here we are told that in the diagram A, B, C, and D are points on a circle with center O. Now, angle DAB is equal to 64 degrees and line AD is equal to line DC. We are now asked to find the size of the angle marked with the letter X. For emphasis sake, I want to redraw this circle, okay, for clarity's sake. Now, if this is the circle, there is a line inside this circle, which is diameter called AB. Diameter is AB. Then we have the first chord called AD, called AD. Another chord called DC, called DC. And then the third chord, which is BC, called BC. Now, these are the three chords. In this diagram, we are told in the question that AD is equal to BC. And also the angle at BAD is 64 degrees. Automatically, because the four angles of this quadrilateral touches the circumference of the circle, we are now going to use cyclic quadrilateral to get the angle at this point C. That means DCB. So what it means is that opposite angles of a cyclic quadrilateral will be equal to 180. So I will write that is 64 degrees plus angle DCB must be equal to 180 degrees. The reason is opposite angles of a cyclic quadrilateral. Okay, that is it. That is the reason. Therefore, it means that angle DCB now will be equal to 180 subtract 64. And when we subtract 64 from 180, it is going to give us 116. I want to be sure. 180 minus 64, that is 116. So the angle here is going to be 116. Beautiful. Moving forward, here is marked angle X, and that is what the question has asked us to find. But can't you see that if I draw a line from C to A, if I move a line now straight from C to A, I must have formed two important triangles. One, isosceles triangle. Two, a right angle triangle. Why? Because angle in a semicircle is a right angle triangle. Therefore, angle ACB must be exactly 90. Mind you, that the entire of angle C is 116. What I mean by that is DCB is 116. But this particular angle that I have marked now, I want to use another color. This particular angle, okay, from here down to this place is 90 degrees, which means that I can now simply do this, subtracting 90 from 116. So if I do that, I'm going to get 26. Therefore, the base of this isosceles here is 26. Automatically here also is going to be 26, okay? Mind you, the entire of this angle DAB is 64. So if I subtract 26 from 64, I am going to get 64 minus 26 will give me exactly 38. So inside this place will be 38. So that 38 plus 26 will give me the entire angle at A, which is DAB, and given to me as 64. I can now easily know this angle if I want. Or else, the angle X that I'm looking for cannot be found. How? I have known that since this triangle ADC is an isosceles triangle now, by drawing a line straight from A to C, I have formed an isosceles triangle there, and likewise forming angle in a semicircle. Therefore, I know here now 26, that is the two base angles are now 26. I write 26 plus 26 plus X is equal to 180. Reason, sum of angles in a triangle. Okay, that is my reason. Therefore, this now will give us what the question has asked us, which is to find the value of X. I now write, this is now 52 plus X is equal to 180. Therefore, x will be 180 subtract 52. Okay, 180 minus 52 will give me exactly 128. 128 degrees. So the value of x that the question has asked me to find is gotten. That is 28 degrees. Straight to the point. And this is the answer to question A in number 8 in that exam, WAEC 2026. Okay, now let's go to question B. And in this section is a 12 marks. What it means is that if A is given 6 marks, B will be given 6 marks, or either way, but the sum of A and answers in A and B must be equal to 12 marks as the criteria for marking WAEC. All right. Now, if 6 is given to A, you have gotten 6 marks. All right, let's come to B. And B part says, two consecutive even numbers are such that 1/3 of the larger exceeds 1/4 of the smaller by 7. Find the numbers. This is the second question in this exam. Okay, now what do we do? What we are going to do, I will have to look for another color to distinguish my solving. So number 8B, we are told consecutive numbers that are nested. Example, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 are consecutive numbers. But this time around, they are two consecutive even numbers, which means if one even number is x, okay, let's use letter n. If one even number is n, the second one now is going to be n plus 2, okay? N, and the second one will now be n plus 2. What does it mean? If one consecutive number is 20, the second one will now be 20 plus 2, which is now 22, okay? They are consecutive because after 20, the next even consecutive number is 22. The next will be 24 in that order. So whatever be the value of the first even number, the second one will now be that first one plus 2 to give us the next even consecutive number. Therefore, we go back to the question, and it says that in that consecutive numbers, reading from the exact question paper, that two consecutive numbers, even numbers, are such that 1/3 of the larger one exceed 1/4 of the smaller one by 7. What does it mean? It means that 1/4 of the smaller one, what is the smaller one? N. 1/4 of n, okay, plus 7 must be equal to 1/3 of the larger one, okay? The smaller one, if the smaller one is 20, so 20 plus 7, that is 1/4 of 20 plus 7 must be equal to 1/3 of 20 plus 2, okay? That is what they are saying. Therefore, if the larger one, 1/3 of the larger one exceeds the smaller one, or exceeds 1/4 of the smaller one by 7. What it means is that if I add 7 to 1/4 of the smaller one, it will be equal to 1/3 of the larger one. This equation will solve the problem to even give us the answers. Therefore, 1/4 multiplied by n plus 7, okay, must be equal to 1/3 multiplied by n plus 2. Okay, so 1/4 of the smaller one plus 7. So this thing is the same thing as saying 1/4 of the smaller one. So I can now say n/4 plus 7 should be equal to n plus 2/3. That is it. I can now find LCM here to get 4 here. Then n plus 4 times 7 is 28, equal to n plus 2 all over 3. We work it now. So working this by cross multiplication, I can have 3n plus 3 multiplied by 28. Let's see what it will give us. 3 by 28 is going to give me 84. 84 is equal to 4 multiplied by n is 4n, and 4 multiplied by 2 will give me 8. This particular equation is supposed to give us that missing number. And what does that mean? It means therefore that I can collect like terms to get that 84 subtract 8 should be equal to 4n minus 3n, meaning that the value of n now will be 84 minus 8, which is exactly 76. Therefore, the first even number is 76. Therefore, the second one will be n plus 2, which is 76 plus 2, and that is equal to 78. In conclusion, the numbers we are asked to find are 76 and 78. These are the consecutive numbers required to be found in question number 8b. Now, this